Jasmine Pearl, Dragonwell Green Tea, Anji White Tea, but it's actually a green tea. Hey tea friends, how are you doing? It's Jesse from Jesse's Tea House. I have great news, our spring green teas are here. Green tea is the type of tea that you want to get new, fresh tea every year. The best tea is always grown in the spring. All of the nutrients the tea plant has been storing up all winter are pushed out in those first few buds of the leaf, and that's what's in these canisters. We have 3 green teas this year. I'm gonna show you them right now. Let's get to it. First tea, 2026 Spring Premium Jasmine Pearl Green Tea. So what is Premium Jasmine Pearl Green Tea? Well, even though jasmine is a flower, a lot of times when people talk about jasmine tea, they're actually talking about green tea that has jasmine scent added. The cheap way to do this, and the way it normally is done in most of the Western market, is that you spray it with fragrant oil. And so if you go to a tea shop and put your face in there, and you'll be like, whoa, that's a lot of scent. The problem is though that that scent will wash away, and also it tastes kind of a little bit chemically because it is kind of overly concentrated. The other way, which is what we've done here, is to do what they call aromatization. That's when you take the green tea and you lay it down on a big mat, and then you take the jasmine flowers and lay them on the green tea, and then that aroma from the flowers comes out at night. It soaks into the tea. Tea is very sensitive to scent. That's why you should never store your tea in a spice cabinet or, with no packaging outside in the fridge, for instance. It's gonna absorb all that other scent. And so in this case, we want the scent absorption. We want that jasmine scent. And then because jasmine green tea is just like a lot of words, usually people refer to jasmine green tea, they just call it jasmine tea. So spring tea we talked about, jasmine tea we talked about. Why are they called pearls? Let me show you. Those are pearls. They've been individually rolled up into this pearl shape. So this is actually the first jasmine pearl we've ever had on the website. And you might think, hey, that's a little unusual. Like, I've heard of jasmine pearls. It's maybe one of the few types of like loose leaf tea that's readily available in the West. So why haven't I been selling them? It's because Chinese manufacturers know that it's one of the few types of tea that Westerners already know about. They produce huge amounts of it really cheaply to export to the Western market. And it's actually difficult to find high quality jasmine pearls. And so it took a while for me to find one that I was like, this is actually good, independently of the fact that it's in this nice shape and it's got this nice scent and it's kind of known about. Here we go. Boom, into the cup. So for green tea, what temperature do you want to make these green teas? And all of these green teas, you really actually have some options. Lower quality green tea, if you blast it with 100-degree boiling water, it's going to be bitter. In fact, it may be bitter even if you use cooler water and you just oversteep it a little bit. The good thing about the high quality tea is it's not going to be super bitter even if you abuse it a little bit. That being said, I do recommend you guys start at around 85 Celsius, that's 185 Fahrenheit, to see how you like it. I have steeping instructions and everything on the containers. Today we're starting at 85. Here we go. So the jasmine pearls, obviously the highlight of this green tea is going to be the jasmine scent and of course these really nice shapes. They look really pretty in the gaiwan. Let those unfurl a little bit. With these guys, I give it a little bit longer of a first steep just to let them kind of open up a little bit. That jasmine scent is so nice. I can smell it right here even though it's all the way over there. I'm gonna get a little bit of it on the lid. Yeah, just nice. And the thing about the aromatized tea as opposed to the sprayed tea is that it's not that the fragrance is like smaller, it's still there, it's very pure. It's a lot cleaner. It doesn't have any sort of like chemically smell to it. And also the taste gets into the tea as opposed to just kind of being around for the first steep and then disappearing. The scent kind of is in the tea leaf. And so it shows up again and again, not just in the scent of the tea, but in the flavor of the tea. That's great. Yeah, this is exactly what I want from a jasmine green tea. Cheers, everybody. Nice, clean color. You can see this beautiful color. Excellent. And you'll notice if I hold it up to the light, you can see all of the hao, the shimmery little hairs in there. Good sign of good tea. A lot of the nutrients are in those hao as well. Cheers. It's just really good. My goal with this again is like, because there's a lot of low quality jasmine pearls out there, it's easy for you guys to find jasmine pearls. It's not easy to find good ones. And so I picked this specifically because if this has been a type of tea that you've liked, that you've tried in the past and you want to try kind of a better version of it, higher quality tea base. Of course, one of the simplest ways the lower quality jasmine is separated from the stuff that we have is this is the spring tea. Normally tea that's made specifically for export for lower markets, they don't use the spring tea. They'll use the second flush, third flush. After the leaves grow back, you can pick them again and again, but that's actually very bad for the tea plant. First of all, it doesn't have all the nutrients. And second of all, it actually damages the plant in the sense that the plant would give you better tea next year if you picked it once and then gave it a whole year to recover. The plant is able to recover very well from having a couple leaves picked, but if you pick it again and again and again, you basically are just damaging the plant all throughout the year. And so that's again one of the reasons why the spring green tea is always the thing you want to look for. Cheers. Special shout out again to our pre-orders. If you pre-ordered the green teas, they should be already on the way to you by the time this comes out. We do have different markets, so not 100% guarantee. It's very difficult to coordinate 4 different warehouses sending out all the stuff, but they're all coming right around the same time. And the pre-orders are really, really helpful for us because green tea is such in demand, especially the spring green tea, that you really do need to tell people way ahead of time how much you're going to need, but how do I know how much I need? So thank you to you guys who pre-ordered and got your surprise green tea pet. All right, let's hit them with another steep. These pearls are going to slowly unfurl as you steep them. As they unfurl, they kind of get inundated. And so this tea actually will kind of have a couple more steeps in it. The first steeps might be a little bit lighter and the middle steeps might be a little bit stronger because you're gonna have those leaves kind of opening up as it goes through. One of the reasons I like the pearls, it makes it a little bit of an interesting arc compared to some other types of green tea. These will probably do about maybe 4 to 6 steeps. So you can see them fully unfurl if you keep going. People have also asked about cold brewing. So green tea is great for cold brewing. When I do cold brew, I just use these glass pitchers and I put some tea in there, I fill it up, I put it into the fridge, leave it overnight, and you've got a beautiful cold brew. All right, Dragonwell Green Tea. This is the classic. If you've ever had one type of green tea before, it's very likely this. It is Longjing in Chinese, and it comes from Hangzhou in Zhejiang province. It's one of the most famous teas in China, perhaps the most famous tea in China. It's got a couple things about it that are very special. One of it is the kind of flattened shape. That's made traditionally by pushing it into a wok. I actually took a workshop on how to do the original Longjing wok pushing. Nowadays, it can also be done by machine, but the shape is very special. And then also just the fragrance of it, like good Longjing is just like the best. It's got this amazing kind of nutty smell to it, just like a really classic mix of sweetness, grassiness. It's a little bit roasty even. This is not roasted, but it has a little bit of that like personality to it somehow. One of these canisters, by the way, is 50 grams. Now, you could use 3 grams if you wanted to, in which case you could stretch one of these canisters to like 15 sessions. But I generally recommend 5 grams or so is good for green tea. So here is the Dragonwell pressed flat shape that I told you about. You want to find leaves that are fairly even. You know, we do have obviously a little bit of a darker leaf here and a lighter leaf there, but overall these leaves are pretty even. And that shows that the processing was done well. Again, one of the differences between the higher quality tea and the lower quality tea is not just the ingredients, but the skill of the people making it. You could have a great set of leaves, and if you don't care about how you make them, you're not gonna make great tea. And if you have a pretty good set of leaves and you really produce them well, you can have like gorgeous tea. Let's get going. I'm gonna reheat the water to 85. Again, you could try 80, you could try 90. You could even go really low. A lot of Japanese teas are steeped at like 65 or something like that. But if you steep a tea generally at a lower temperature, you need a longer steep time and you get sweeter tea, but it may be less flavorful. And if you steep for a shorter time at higher temperature, you're kind of gonna get more flavor. It's gonna be bolder, but you might lose some of the sweetness and you run the risk of tannins getting in there. Here we go, making our Longjing Dragonwell. Really, really pretty leaves here. Love it. This stuff is summer for me because what happens every year in China in the spring, I go and get the fresh spring green tea, and then that's gonna last me all the way to the next spring. So I buy enough that's going to get me through to next April or May. In America, I would get through to the next summer because it takes a little bit of time to ship through. And obviously, right after I get it, I tend to drink it a little bit more. And so I go through a lot of green tea in the summer. Green tea is excellent for the summer. It's very light, it's very sweet. Oh yeah, the Longjing in particular has this nutty and also what they call like a douxiang. It's like a soybean scent to it. And let me show you again the color here. Just like very, very beautiful color. Absolutely love that color. You may notice that I am not giving any tea to the tea pet, although I can give him a little. This guy's coming in August, but the reason is because green tea, you actually don't get that many steeps. You can, if you want, pour your first steep out on your tea pet, but it is a little bit of a waste. You want to drink that first steep. And look at this, look at how clean it is. You can see right through to the other side of the room. Look at how clear that is. That's pretty unbelievable. Yay. One of my other goals with putting together a line of spring green teas is I want teas that taste different from each other. Green tea to green tea doesn't have as big of a flavor difference as, say, oolong to oolong. Some oolongs are really light and crisp and refreshing. Others are super dark and roasted. There's a huge range. Green tea doesn't have that kind of range, but it does have a range. And this is gonna be bolder. It's going to be very smooth, but also it's got like a richer, again, like nuttier, roastier kind of feel to it, more umami. Some of the other green teas are kind of more like sweet water. Actually, out of all the three that are here, if you kind of like a bolder green tea, the Longjing is not a bad choice. The green tea is gonna last you all year, so it's gonna last you all the way through until the next spring or the next summer if you do it well. So you'll have it for quite a while. Here we go. Cheers. Really, really nice. So this actually is a good example of a tea guy moment for you guys, how I pick which teas I do and don't take. So one of the things that makes the leaves more expensive is if they have higher quality, like they're grown in the spring, they come from a good area, they are produced well. That stuff to me is very important. One thing I did skimp on in order to get more for you at a better price is that if you get like really high-end Longjing, every leaf is the exact same size. So they look really pretty. When I was trying my samples, I was like, this looks really pretty, but they aren't all exactly the same size. You got a longer one, a little bit shorter, a little bit longer. In my opinion, once you start looking for that, you're really paying more for the shape and kind of the aesthetic than you are for the flavor and the experience. I think for like virtually everybody in the West, this tea is gonna be really good, and I would rather give you more of it or keep the price down than charge extra because it looks really pretty. But other brands might have a different take on that. And if I were doing like ultra high end and I really had no concern about it, and I knew my customers just want the best at any price, yeah, you can pay more to have it look even better. It's in the same way that I don't fight into the first week or two of the tea market where, you know, people are charging 10,000 renminbi per kilo or 20,000 renminbi per kilo for the earliest pre-Qingming teas. Is it better? Yes. Is it 10 times better or whatever it would need to be in order to justify the price? I don't think so. Longjing is just classic. You're not gonna go wrong. And you know, one canister of that, you use it throughout the year. It's not gonna go bad after a year. It just loses freshness, and people who are really excited about tea tend to want to get the next year's spring green tea. But we had a follower who had an unopened bag of a 2023 green tea of ours, and they opened it up and they drank it and they said it was still pretty good. So I can't guarantee that. It's not meant to be kept that long. All right, everybody, we're here for our final green tea, white Anji green tea. In Chinese, this is called Anji Bai Cha, which literally translates to Anji white tea. Anji is the region, and Bai Cha means white tea. But it's actually a green tea. The leaves are just a little bit whiter and kind of milkier than other tea varietals. It's a specific varietal of tea plant, and that varietal just looks a little bit whiter, so that's the differentiation. Everybody knows though that Anji is really known for green tea, even though it's called white tea. These are both 50 grams, but like the Anji white tea bag is much fluffier, but that's just because these don't pack as efficiently as the Dragonwell leaves, which are laid flat. We designed them to get out as much air as possible. Very important for green tea storage. Don't expose them to air. They'll oxidize, they'll lose their scent. You want to be able to have it as airtight as possible. Unlike Longjing, which is like, you know, squashed flat, and the Jasmine Pearls, which were those great rounded shapes, the Anji white tea is actually kind of like a needle looking like shape. Oh my God, the smell, oh, so fresh. That's the thing you're getting with green tea is freshness. It's the scent, it's the cleanness of it. It's not the type of tea that's gonna punch you in the face. It's a type of tea where you can really chill out, take a big cup of it. You can drink it in small cups or in a mug, easy drinking, sweet, clean, beautiful. And here are those needle-like shapes that I talked about. Very, very pretty leaves. Again, high quality tea, what you're looking for is a minimum of breakage. You know, we got this all the way around the world to you guys. And basically all of these leaves are completely unbroken and clean. It's a testament to our packaging team that we've designed package that keeps it safely. And it's a testament to our shipping team that gets everything out on time to you guys. It's actually quite a lot of work to get tea going all around the world. Something I did not appreciate before I started a tea company, and I was taking it back in my suitcase. To do this is a completely different thing. And you can have it hot, or this tea in particular, I think responds well to the cold brewing. Very, very nice shapes there. Here we go. And that first scent comes off. Again, part of getting into tea is knowing what type of tea you're making and knowing what to expect from it and what you don't want to expect from it. So in this case, I want like a really nice, clean, floral scent. Yeah, just like it's a little bit grassy, but it should be clean. You don't want any funky smell. You don't want any like kind of dark smell. You don't want any musty smell, not from a green tea. Oh yeah, the sweetness of this one, I think, is really kind of the first characteristic, just like very sweet, very clean. The grassiness is also not quite as much as the Longjing. I think the Longjing is a little bit more like vegetal umami type thing. This one is kind of sweet and clean. Here we go. When I talk about clean, you can see right through it. It's good. So good. The Anji White is a personal favorite of mine because when I lived in Shanghai writing on the Chinese version of SNL, I pounded this tea real hard. Basically, Anji is actually very close to Shanghai. It's only like about 2 hours away. This one has a little bit of that grassiness, but it's not overwhelming. It has a lot of nice sweetness. It's crisp. It's very smooth. All three of the green teas, if you want something really dark and intense, green tea is not what you're looking for. But I do think that for summer, it's fantastic because one, you steep it a little bit cooler, so it goes into your mouth a little bit cool. Even if you're drinking hot tea, you know, you could steep this at 70 Celsius, and by the time it's steeped in there and gone into your cup, it's really more like warm than hot. And even if you drink it a little bit hot, just the nature of it, it's very cooling. A lot of the reasons why Chinese drink hot liquids even in the summer is the idea is it's going to cool you down. It's going to make you sweat a little, you cool down. But I'm telling you, I'm not sweating drinking that. I'm just really enjoying it. And then there's this nice like fruitiness at the end there. That last sip, I just got like a sweet pear. Just a lot in there considering how light and clean it is. So actually one of the effects of climate change has been that the region of Anji is getting hotter. And the hotter years, the leaves are less white than they used to be. So even though you can see maybe in a leaf like this, it kind of does have like a milkier, whiter color. To get that really, really milky white, you have to kind of go up quite a bit of those tiers. And it's one of those things where, as I said before, is it worth spending money on the aesthetic of how your tea leaf looks? I'm not gonna say it never is, it can be. But personally, when I'm looking out for you guys and trying to figure out where to draw the line, I think you're gonna enjoy this just as much looking a little bit greener with the same taste and the same scent as if I, you know, really put in a bunch of extra bucks and got a very expensive, whiter, paler one of them. Cheers. That's great. So these three teas are the three green teas from our spring line. We're also gonna be having another green tea that comes out in August as part of the subscription box. But this is our line for this year. I think you're really gonna love them. Thank you again to everybody that pre-ordered. I hope you enjoy it. The pre-order people got a special tea pet, which was not featured in this video, specifically because it's for them. It's a surprise. I want them to enjoy it. If they want to share it, they can share it on the internet. Otherwise, this is what you get when you pre-order. You get fancy special tea pets. If you don't want all three of them, you can buy them individually. They're available individually as well. They're going to be available in all of our markets. The green tea is one of these projects where I was like, I really want everybody in the world to be able to get good green tea. Thank you so much for your support. If you have any green tea questions, leave comments in the comments section. I'm just glad to be your tea guy. I'm glad that I get a chance to enjoy this great stuff with you. Whether you're drinking it hot or cold brewed, just enjoy your tea. 多喝茶, drink more tea. 谢谢. Thank you so much for being a part of my tea journey and for choosing me as your tea guy. I'm Jesse. 多喝茶, drink more tea.